Thank you so much for watching The Real Source with me, Tafadzwa. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about Crime and Justice, a police procedural and legal drama that is set in Nairobi, Kenya. It is a co-production between Canal Plus and Showmax. It is in fact the first original co-production between these two that is set in Africa. It stars Sarah Hassan and Alfred Munyua, who play two detectives, and I'll talk about them in just a moment. And it is directed by Adam Wolf. The show centers around Makena and Silas, played by Hassan and Munyua respectively, two detectives who are called upon to take on some really interesting cases in and around the Nairobi area. At the time of making this specific video, 3 episodes have aired from this series. So my review, though I think it's fairly comprehensive, is obviously not a total review because it doesn't factor in the fact that we haven't come to the end of the season. But I think I have enough to go on to give what I think is a fair review. What's worth noting about this series is that each of the cases, each of the homicide cases, and I'm assuming all of the episodes will deal with homicide, but the 3 that have aired so far have been to do with homicide, and each of them deals with a case that is either very interesting just in terms of its subject matter or is topical. A lot of these things, when I was watching them, whether it's issues of femicide or issues of abuse in the home or issues of racial tension leading somebody to potentially commit a crime, all of these things are topical issues. They're global topical issues, but they're pertinent even to the continent of Africa. And the general structure of an episode thus far has been to begin with the commission of a crime. So you see a crime of some sort happening, either that or a crime has just occurred. And then in step Makena and Silas to deal with the crime aspect, the police procedural aspect of this. They then sort of come to some kind of a conclusion, and then we end up in a court case, which is then resolved either in favor or against, in favor of or against the defendant. Now, the reason why I bring up structure is because generally when you watch these types of shows, it's an either-or situation. It's either a police procedural or it is a legal drama. Focus is either on the police or the courtroom aspect of this. Now, because this is combined, for me, in terms of selling the drama, the posters, the artwork, and all of those things, I felt to omit a very important person who is the prosecutor Sokoro, who is played by Paul Ogola. He is, first of all, a great actor, but his role takes up a big chunk of the second half of every episode. And so, because he is so prominent in each episode, it would have been fitting, I think, to put him on the promotional material, because as it is, so much focus is put on Makena and Silas as the detectives that you almost don't realize, and in fact only discover when you watch, that there is a very prominent aspect of this, which is the legal drama aspect of it. But in spite of that, let me talk about what I think about the series. I have to tell you, this is a gripping show. I enjoy watching it. Each episode has, as I said before, interesting subject matter. These are topical issues, these are interesting issues, and they're dramatic issues. They're issues that you want to see play out dramatically on a screen. Cases being solved. Will the person we thought did it prove to be innocent or guilty in a court of law? Because a courtroom is a completely different ballgame regardless of whether you actually did it or not. So in terms of the issues and the way they're executed in this series, I have to say it's well done. Everything is really well done, even from a technical point of view, in terms of how the series is shot, how it sounds, the performances, everything really sits together in a very solid way. I don't have many complaints as far as that concerned. It's a series from that point of view that I would highly recommend. I also have to make special mention of the 2 main actors, Alfred Munyua and Sarah Hassan, in terms of the way that they play the tension between them. When you talk about a detective series, detective shows, even movies, generally you will find one of 2 kinds, either one in which they are buddies, and those ones generally fall into the comedy genre. But then you'll find ones where the two detectives, although their professional objectives are the same, don't agree at some level, either ideologically or politically, or perhaps even just the way they live their lives. You'll find two extremes. Now, in the case of Makena and Silas, it's a little bit of both, and I quite like that. There are moments where you will really see them head to head arguing about issues, but there are also those moments of tenderness between them where both of them are dumbstruck by the nature of the crime, and you can see that chemistry really playing out between them. Thus far, I have to be really honest and say we don't yet know too much about the characters. I'm hoping, and I can't say for sure, but I'm hoping that more will begin to be revealed about them. Perhaps the one thing that I felt a little bit let down by in certain of the episodes that I've watched thus far, you've got these really great performances by Sarah and by Alfred and some of the immediate supporting cast, but then you get let down by some of the other lesser characters who give you these really either cardboard or strange performances, and that ends up really tanking a scene that could have been rich if everybody was great. So again, this has been a complaint of mine about some of the shows that I've seen on our continent, that sometimes not as much care is placed into casting solid extras and solid people, even if all they have is one line. But other than that one complaint, on the whole, this is a show that I'm enjoying. I look forward each week. This is a show, as I said before, that I would recommend. So yeah, these are my thoughts on Crime and Justice, the police procedural and legal drama showing on Showmax and co-produced by Canal Plus. If you have watched it, if you have access to Showmax and you've watched it, please let me know your thoughts. If you are from Kenya and you've watched it, let me know your perspective on it, particularly being Kenyan. Sometimes as a fellow African, you may see things a certain way, but a person from the actual country where a show is produced might have a completely different view or give you a perspective that is slightly different. So if you're from Kenya, I would specifically love to hear from you, but it doesn't matter if you're from anywhere in the world and you've watched the show and you have thoughts on it. I would also love to hear from you in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and if you want to see more content on The Real Source, please subscribe. It obviously benefits the channel and its growth, but it allows you to see when new content has been posted. From me, Tafadzwa, again, I want to say thank you so much for watching and take care.